All right. Hi, everyone. I'm so stuffed tonight. I decided to start a diet and I did well. I did well. I exercised, but then today I went out for some food and I didn't feel like I was eating too much, but even still, I managed to eat what feels like way too much and I'm about to explode, but I should be fine. I should be fine. I've got my water and I plan to exercise in a little bit, but I just need to relax for a while. Um, so yeah, this video, uh, really what I'm talking about in this video is Christian conduct, and I think how we should be with one another as Christians. Now, there's all different kinds of relationships in Christianity. You know, um, we have those we're friendly with in our congregations. We have family members, and we can have romantic partners, and you know there needs to be a certain way in which we work with these different groups, and there's going to be different dynamics among these groups, sure, but um, yeah, I don't know. I don't like. This is a difficult video to make. This is a difficult video to make because I'm trying my best to refuse to get drawn into like a really carnal mode of thinking. And you know how sometimes someone can say something to get a reaction out of you? And I feel like it's not the thing that the person says that gets the reaction out of me. It's the fact this is someone that you care about that's saying these things. And I think that's what makes you want to talk about it. It's like, oh no, no, stop. Why are you doing this? It's weird, it's strange and peculiar, but I feel like this video needs to be made. So someone, some mysterious figure has made uh, a complaint, I guess you could say, on my previous video. Now, in my previous video, I'm talking about saying no or no to temptation. And in that video, I'm talking about just things that are going on in my life. So obviously, there's food, which is a big temptation. Um, but there's also temptation in the form of romantic entanglements and maybe going into ones that aren't necessarily healthy for you and getting yourself wound up in sexual things that there's just really no place for. And you just get yourself in a rut if you pursue these things. Now, I'm not speaking from the perspective of some kind of, oh, in my past life, I was a big player. You know, I was always out there in the town picking up girls. I wasn't. I was very late to the game. The only reason I ever ended up having the business was because I was 20 in a couple of days' time, and I thought to myself, all my friends are out gallivanting and all the rest of it. I'm going to be 20 years old next week. If I don't, you know, overcome this obstacle, I'm going to be the laughing stock of my peers. And that was the only thing that motivated me into a sexual relationship. There was a romantic relationship at the time, but I felt like I had to go along with the flow of things, even though I wasn't necessarily wanting to do that. It all seemed very strange to me. Um, anyways, and since that time, I haven't been a player. Although I might sometimes talk about relationships and things like that, I am not like I've only had a handful of girlfriends. Not very many, nothing you would ever boast about at all. Um, I don't know. I've always been a wee bit shy and a wee bit reticent to like going out and kind of making you know a spectacle of myself. Although I do like entertainment and things like that, but I find like my sense of humor can sometimes be a little bit, you know, niche, niche, not necessarily what you would call attractive. Um, Charming, maybe, disarming, cute, perhaps, but not necessarily all that attractive. Anyways, This video that I made attracted a comment from a mysterious and strange individual. I wonder who that could be. And they made a comment that it's just a word, and it's not something I would usually react to. It's just the fact that it came from this person, and I thought it was a joke. I thought, ah, they're being funny. They're being funny, you know. And the reason I thought they were being funny um, was because we'd had an email back and forth, and it was all very much, well, first of all, this person had been someone that I'd been in a relationship with, someone I'd genuinely and sincerely cared for, like really, really deeply cared for. And I don't know, man. Like that was a difficult situation. Um, that really affected me. You know, that whole thing really, you know, I don't mean to sound cliched, but it broke my heart. The whole situation. Um, not to say like, oh, I'm a victim. Like she's trying to be a victim, and then I'm trying to play a victim or like that. None of that. None of that carnal stuff. I don't want to go there. I don't want to engage with that. But just like to say, like, it was weighty and significant. And yeah, like they ghosted me. They just decided like one day I was going off to see my friend's new baby for the first time, and then they're just like, "Nah, I'm just not going to talk to you anymore." And I'm like, "What the shit?" Like, but I love you. I thought we were talking, and like, nah, fuck you. Like, I just don't want to talk to you anymore. And I'm like, what? This is so weird. Like, why are you doing this? And that's not to convey any kind of like I'm so oblivious to my own flaws. It's like I understand the pragmatic side of all that because this is someone that lived in a different country. I mean, my goodness, there's a lot of stress involved there. And then there's a lot of wee conflictual things that I don't really want to get into the nitty gritty of. I suppose that could be the main points to discuss, but I want to try and keep it as private as possible, because I don't want to out people. Um, anyways, um, yes, this person goes out of my life, and then suddenly, out of the blue, a couple of months later, I get this message. Oh, by the way, take down this video, would you please? I just remember feeling so insulted. I'm like, what? I'm like, what? I'm like, what is going on here? Like, you can't do this. You don't get to just come back into my life and tell me to start taking down videos. That's not cool. Do you have any empathy? Do you possess a soul? Like, what is wrong with you? So I was just kind of like, I'm just going to leave that. I'm just going to pretend that it didn't happen. You know, that's like fucking audacity. You know what I mean? So I was like, right, I'm just going to leave it. And then I thought, nah, shit, wait, this person's birthday's coming up, and I still I care about them. So hey, on the laptop, like, hey, by the way, hope you're doing well. I have been praying about you and thinking about you. Sorry about the way things worked out. Thinking about you and your family and everything. All the best. And she emails me back and she's like, oh wow, yeah, I've been thinking about you too. I've been praying for you and your family too. I hope things are well. And I'll just take this message at face value and believe it's sincere. I was like, well, fucking hey, that's a very polite thing to do. Thank you for considering it to be sincere. So I was like, right, okay. And then like she had some other things that she wanted to get off her mind. She had some ideas about some of the things I'd been saying, and I was like, right, okay, say your piece. I want to hear what you have to say. I wasn't that nonchalant about it. I was more like, yeah, come on, I really want to hear what you have to say because I do. I value the opinions of others, and particularly this person who I'd grown to know over the course of a year, like almost talking on a consistent daily basis. Anyways, yeah, they start to respond, telling me all this information that they had to share with me, and it's laden with insults, and I'm thinking, what? Like, wait, can we go back? Like, so you send me this email saying you're praying for my happiness and my soul and my family and everything like this, and it sounds very sincere, very sweet, and very lovely. And then you write me this other email that's just strewn with the most heinous insults you could ever read, and peppered in among that is some spiritual musings. And I was like, Okay, thank you for the email. I can see there's some really interesting ideas in here. Here's where I think they're okay. Here's where I think there's problems with them. Cool talking to you. It's like that was very peculiar and strange. Why would you do that to someone? And this isn't someone that's got any doubts in their mind by it. This isn't someone who thinks I am a terrible person. I mean, I don't understand why this person would be watching my just hate watching my channel. Like, what's this Scottish bastard going to say in this video? It's like, how demented is that? This is obviously someone who cares about me, who cares about my life. And I know they do. So it doesn't make any sense. I don't understand where this and you know what, that's being naive. I do understand where this is coming from. Obviously, this is someone that's feeling hurt, or maybe this is someone that's got their own insecurities that they need to deal with. And the fact is, I've opened the channel for discourse. I've said you can talk to me. If you've got something to say to me, if you want to call me out, you know where to contact me, and you can talk to me like an adult. You can talk to me like a human being. You know, unless your ears are too holy. You know, like you're too righteous to speak to me. But it seems not, because this conduct, like I don't like I'm on YouTube, and I'm looking up the YouTube policies, and I'm on the defamation page right now because the kinds of allegations this person's making against me, that affects my livelihood. I work with vulnerable people, and you can't say those kinds of things. So I was thinking, do I need to call my cousin and get some legal advice here? I mean, is this going to be a consistent thing that's going to go on? This is absolute, it's just terribleness. But then I thought to myself, no, that's not the way to do it. That's not the Christian way to go about these things. As it says in 1 Corinthians 6:1, if any of you has a dispute with another, do you dare to take it before the ungodly for judgment instead of before the Lord's people? And then in another place, in Matthew 5:22-24, it says, but I tell you that anyone who is angry with his brother will be subject to judgment. Again, anyone who says to his brother Raka will be subject to the Sanhedrin, but anyone who says you fool will be subject to the fire of hell. Therefore, if you are offering your gift at the altar and there remember that your brother has something against you, leave your gift there before the altar. First go and be reconciled to your brother, then come and offer your gift. And then in another place, I think it's Timothy that makes the complaint that, particularly speaking about his day, that the people will be, unreconcilable and passing malicious gossip. And that's the definition here. So this is someone that's so twisted inside that they're practicing ungodly behavior. And I'm not going to turn around and say, oh, this is all on them. This is all on them. And I made this wee sign here, salt versus salty, because we're supposed to be the salt of the earth and not salty. But that's antagonistic too. I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that. I would rather be reconciled. That's genuineness, man. That's complete openness. It's just so strange to me. Like, it doesn't make any sense. Like on that video, the video I made about saying no to temptation, the very subject that I was going on about was maintaining self-control. So there was the one girl who wanted a relationship with me, I suspect, that didn't get what she wanted and she cut me out of her life. There was the one who asked me out to her house, Netflix and chill, and I was reading through the book of Peter and I was like, no, I'm not going to do that. And then the only person I'm being in contact with is the one through talking was telling me about her dating life in the past and how she can't actually have intercourse. That's the person I'm talking to. That's the person I'm actually having a nice wee chat with. Like today we had a chat and we were talking about, we finally got into beliefs. And I just loved how natural it was. We're taking a nice little walk by the lake and looking at the stars and stuff. And she was talking about science fiction and all the rest of it. And then we're talking about belief, and she started to kind of dig in and criticize belief. And I was like, oh, okay, I don't know if I would say that. And she's like, oh, I didn't didn't catch that. Sorry, what do you believe? And I was able to tell her about my beliefs. And I can tell that she thinks she's got the upper hand. She's going to lose that argument eventually. But no, we didn't dig too deep into it. But it was just a wee start to a conversation that I hope to have again and again and again, um, until the points are fully developed. Because I find that atheism is just it's just sort of like a default setting right now, and the most enlightened forms of atheism out there tend to be, it's just like atheism in name, but there's a spiritual dynamic to it, and that can be cool. That can be cool. That can be all right. Um, and I guess that kind of leads into a video I want to talk about soon about the role of Christ in this age in our current present time, because that would be a very interesting thing to look at and to explore. Um, but yeah, we're supposed to conduct ourselves in certain ways, uh, you know, and one of the ways that we're supposed to conduct ourselves as Christians is by love, is by the virtue of love. And that's not to say that if someone has a grievance against you, they can't talk about it, or they're not allowed to say their piece or anything like that. Everyone should be allowed to say their piece, but there's appropriate avenues to do it, and there's appropriate ways to raise your points and to say things that the person who made these comments knows are not true by the confession of their own mouth. They know, um, well, how I felt about them at the time, and the kind of relationship that was. Particularly for me, it was a very significant one from my perspective. It was one where it truly, truly came to know someone as well as I could, and with the means that I had, and to love someone, like with all their wee flaws and everything as well, because we've all got our wee flaws, and I've got my wee flaws as well, Um, but I don't know, like it didn't work out. It didn't work out, and now it's this what weird, acrimonious, strange thing, and I don't understand why it has to be that way. That takes effort. That takes so much effort, so much like wasted energy to feel that way about someone. And I don't even understand what right this person has to be the way they are. Yeah, and I hate to think that way. Again, it's very carnal. It's me trying to and come rise up against the other person's attitude. It's all very egoic, isn't it? Because I feel inspired to step up and say, "What right do you have to act that way? I'm the disenfranchised party. I was the one with the pure heart. You were the liar. You were the conceited one. You were the one that made all these promises that were built in bullshit. I was the one with a heart." And it's like, anybody hearing that will think, "Ah, that's fucking cringe. That's horrible." You know what I mean? It's like it is, and I don't. It's not necessarily my argument, but that's the way that ego works, isn't it? It's like, I'm the one that was hurt. No, you, no, you, and it's very acrimonious and just a disaster situation. It's not something anyone wants to work with. Um, but the one thing I will say is that I don't know. I'm trying to think, what would Jesus do? Jesus wouldn't get himself in a situation to begin with. Yeah. But it's not just that, right? It's the fact that this is someone I've not really engaged with for months. And it was like the last time this person saw me was in a video where I was really confessing the failings of a heart, my failings as a man, my the way that I can pursue my own will, tangential to that of the will of God, the way I can sometimes see what I want, maybe, and have that cloud the way forward for myself. I was trying to do a really mature reflection. I was trying to take the hit. I was trying to be the one to say, you know what, I was wrong. That was my effort. And then with that, I turned to my studies and I turned to my Bible, my scriptures, and tried to make myself a more rounded person. And in that interim, I worked to try and realize and think different thoughts and ideas. And all the while I'm doing this, all the while I'm conditioning myself and refining myself and trying to figure myself out. What's this other person doing? Are they just sitting there fucking polishing off their sniper rifle? Like, right, I'm going to make a wee snippy comment here. It's like, how vindictive, how narcissistic is that? And again, that's coming from an egotistical place. All those little words that just came out of my mouth there. I don't mean to say that stuff. I don't want to cause any grief. I don't want to slander, you know? I don't want to be having this kind of conversation. But again, what I'm thinking about is, do you let someone say those things about you? And maybe the answer is yes. Maybe the answer is you just let someone say that. But then I think to me, but even this person who I would expect more from, even this person that I genuinely care about, am I going to let them say those things about me? And maybe the hard answer to that question too is yes. Now there comes a point if it's going to interfere with your professional life, then maybe you got to say, well, you better, I'm going to get a lawyer involved if you don't watch your shit. You know what I mean? Like I need to work. So that'd be cool if you didn't say stuff like that. Um, Otherwise, we're going to have to get it all out. But at the same time, it's like no, it's like I feel like where it can be dealt with in this fashion here, it should be dealt with in a saintly way. But man, what an ugly situation to have to contend with. What a terrible situation to find yourself in. Um, and I don't know, man. Like it's sad. It's sad to me as well. Like um, I don't know. I don't. It's just it's literally insane. You know. And again, the reason I think the reason I'm hurt by it so much is because it is someone that I genuinely liked, and that was. I mean, this doesn't excuse anything. Like if I had done something wrong, this doesn't excuse it. But the fact that I consider this person to be someone that I know cares about me and like was one of the first people I told, oh by the way, my brother's passed away, and like I just buried my brother last week, and this person knows that. This person was moved by that, and then they're just gonna irreverently just throw out um, some slanderous text at me. Nah, nah, that's heartless. That's antichrist. Is it? Am I just offended? No, by the very writings of the epistles, it's antichrist. Is it antichrist or just bad conduct? I'm just going to call it bad conduct. It's not right to treat someone like that. It's not right at all. It's so indulgent. It's so selfish. It's so. I mean, it might make that person feel better about themselves. Like, oh, I'm gonna play you out to be this big bad. You're the reason things went to shit. You're the problem with this relationship. It's like, excuse me. You know, um, that relationship inspired me to do things I would never do. I got on a pl I have the I'm terrified of flying. I got on a plane. I flew across the ocean. I went right out of my way, my wee anxious heart. I went right out of my way, to try and see this person and to try and be with this person, and they loved me. They at least they said they did, you know? And it's stupid. I feel like such a fool. I feel like I've been made a complete it sucks, man. You know? It's like it just sucks. It's just because there's wee things, you know what I mean? There's wee memories that meant something to you, you know? And you feel like part of the weight of them, part of the reason that they mattered was because you shared them with another person. And you try and divorce the experience for that, I think sometimes, especially if it's been rough, because it wasn't just there was multiple elements to that, like it was a big deal for me, obviously, to fly by myself over to a new country. It's a completely new experience for me, and I really loved going over there. But it's hard to divorce just going to the country and then seeing the person. And I just feel like such a total dickhead, like just a complete asshole. Like the fact I got talked into doing it, the fact I did it, the fact I talked myself into it. And I shouldn't feel bad for the experience, like I did something. And it just turned out to be fruitless, it appears. And I tried to salvage something out of it, right? I tried my best to say, hey, look, this didn't work out, but I still care about you. We could still be friends. Why is that insane? Why is that impossible? I don't know. Maybe I'm just naive. Maybe I'm just really, really naive. And it's stupid. I got this. Hope you don't see my boxers. I got this wee thing here when I was in a Target. It's Everyman Jack deodorant and sandalwood smell. And that smell just reminds me of like Florida, and just the sunshine and the heat and the happiness. Just it was such a fantastic spring for me, like here in Scotland, it's like negative 5 degrees Celsius. I don't know what you call that in America. 40 degrees Fahrenheit or something like that. I don't know. I don't know how you guys work it. Cold. It was cold. Okay, it was the temperature that water freezes at or below, whatever that is in America. That's what it is in Scotland. But in America and Florida, oh my goodness, it's just amazing. And you know how you listen to a song, you think, oh, that song, that was my summer of '69. No, this was my summer, or my spring rather, of 2019. Except it's not a song, it's a smell, and it's sandalwood. Um, yeah. What was that point? It's just the ramblings of a madman again. But no, just wee things like that. Like there's all these wee significant wee memories, and it's like, what, just nuked, just blown out of the water. Just nah, it's not a thing anymore. And like, and you can sometimes, and I think it's healthy to ask yourself, is it me? Is it me? Am I such a bastard? Was it me all along? Was there something I did? But then I think to myself, no, I spoke to her family, and her family thought I was brand new. Her family thought I was fantastic. Her mum especially. Her sister's like, aye, she's a bit of a weird deal. You know what I mean? It's like, aye, it appears she is. It's like, my goodness, I've got this handmade bowl that was made by a loved one that passed away in their family, and I was gifted this by the mum. Such a beautiful wee thing to give someone, such a significant gift to give someone. And I could get really dug in here and start making a fool of myself, saying some of the things I did for this person. You know what I mean? And claiming to myself, oh, I did this, I did that, I did the next thing. And they weren't small things either. They were really significant and meaningful things, academically, personally. Um, meaningful stuff you don't just do. Well, I guess I would do it for just about anyone, but people you care about especially. Um, no, no, no. There's a way to treat people, and there's a way not to treat people. And I believe I was treated unfairly and disrespected, and that's fine. I'm not going to go about asking for an apology. I'm not going to go about, uh, I don't know, feeling angry or upset. You know, I'm prone to a wee outburst, I suppose. I guess you could call that what this is. You know what I mean? Like getting a rise at me. You know what I mean? But generally in my day to day, no man, it's like I'm okay with it. I'm fine with it. Like, but this needs to reach a terminus. You know what I mean? These kinds of things needs to reach there needs to be a natural stopping point here. Like, what are you doing? Why are you on my channel? Why are you watching my videos? You know what I mean? Like, it's not cool. It's really not cool. Um, I've already laid out the hand of friendship. I've already extended the olive branch. I've done everything in my capacity as a Christian and just as a human being to try and remedy this situation. Am I so unforgivable? Am I so dreadful? Am I so hateful? Am I so loathsome? Am I not worthy of the forgiveness of God? Am I not worthy of a life? Should I just delete my channel? Should I just finish all this? What do you say? Should I take it all down? Would that pacify you? Would that soothe your rage? From whence does it come anyway? Why are you so upset? These are the questions people should ask themselves. Why am I upset? Because I legitimately do not know why this person is upset. They have no grounds to be upset. There is no justification that this person could possibly mount in 1,000 years of scrutiny and analysis to justify how they've conducted themselves, what they've said. There is no grounds, and they know it, and their conscience will convict them. Again, I'm moved to anger. That's coming from an aggressive place. That's coming from an agitated ego. And I don't want to be that way. But the good thing is to do that is to take a step back and think, wait, where's this coming from? Where are these words coming from? Because again, I don't want to salt the earth. I would rather not. I want to remedy things, man. I want things to be happy. I want people to be connected. I want things to be okay. I want there to be healing. And you'll notice in a lot of my videos, I make this point of reconciliation, the ministry of reconciliation. I want all things to be reconciled. I want all pain to be soothed, all brokenness to be healed up. I want everyone to gird the loins of their minds, I want things to be okay and cool, just cool. But that's asking too much. That's asking too much for some, right? And maybe that's a painful experience that we all need to go through. But the weird, twisted, messed up thing about all this is the person I'm addressing, the person I'm speaking about, they know this too. They feel this too. They've got a huge ego problem. They've got a massive ego problem because they know all this to be true too. They know all this to be Christianity, to be the Spirit of Christ. But they're too injured. They're too broken, and that can be a painful process. Maybe there is some issues there that need to get dealt with. I don't know, but I'm not going to be a drum to be beaten. I'm not going to be, um, I don't know, the object of someone's rage, especially someone that's just sniping me from a distance. You know what I mean? Like, there's the phone. Call me. Call me right now. Do it live. We'll do it live. We'll do it live. Bill O'Reilly reference there. Call me. Give me a phone call. Let's hash it out publicly. No, you don't have the heart for it. You don't want to do it. You don't want to be transparent. I neither you should. Sorry, that came from a bad place. The ego, eh? 1 Peter 3:9. Do not repay evil for evil or reviling for reviling, but on the contrary, bless, for to this you were called, that you may obtain a blessing. Right. That's an important message for everyone to hear in 1 Peter 3:9, because it captures a lot. Do not repay evil for evil or reviling for reviling, but on the contrary, bless, for this you were called, that you may obtain a blessing. It's what we read about in Matthew 5, It's what we read about in Matthew 4 as well. We're to bless. I think that's the way forward, right? So when you feel someone has insulted you, or if you feel someone has come against you, hurt you in some way, the thing to do is to react in blessing. And it's not a sanctimonious thing. It's not to, because people can do that in a really weird, twisted way where it's like someone's a complete dick and then they've been an arsehole to someone and then they just take on a persona of, oh, "But bless you." "No, but still, but bless you." And it's like, "What do you mean bless? You were the one that was mean to me. Why are you blessing me?" You know, it can get really twisted and difficult and strange and people just playing head games. Like, I'm not interested in that, you know? Tear me open, bare my soul. You know what I mean? It's like, I just yeah, I like that. So if someone does wrong by you, if you feel they've done wrong by you, you should really meditate on that and reflect on it and think it out, and then choose your course wisely. What is the way forward with this? And the first thing you should do with your mind then is to bless this person. And why? Why would you bless someone that's hurt you? Why would you bless someone that's done you wrong? What sense does that make? I've heard this complaint made before by certain atheists in their writings. They're like, bless your enemies? That's retarded. It's like, well, no, it's not. There's something really healthy in there to understand the action of going through that thinking of I'm going to bless an enemy. And why would you do that? I think it's because it should come from a place of understanding that the reason someone's hurt you, the reason someone said this thing or done this thing to you is because of lack of knowledge. It's because of misunderstanding. And this is someone like a burst balloon or a burst tire that needs remedying so that they can retain traction or and keep in the helium to keep floating upward in their journey. This is what they need. They need to be healed. So I'm going to pray a blessing on them because I've been the subject of their dysfunction and I don't want anyone else to suffer the dysfunction. So I'd rather pray them to be made whole. That's a good way to see it, I think. Um, yeah. And if you can imagine two Christians doing that with each other, so one Christian looks at the other and thinks, "Ah, you bastard," but at the same time, "No, bless you. No, bless you. I understand where that could come from." But and then they're thinking the same thing. They're like, I just want to punch your face in, but no, you know what? Nah, bless you, bless. And they come together with a blessing. And it's like, well, no, wait, we get it now. We understand where things went wrong when we can grow, like legitimately grow past it. Because because the ego doesn't want to make that growth happen. The ego wants to keep you angry and keep you dug in. And there's a thing called social pain where you don't want to admit to being wrong because it can trigger a certain pain within you, you know, the same part of the brain that's responsible for physical pain. You can feel that socially whenever you've been rejected or you've been made to feel like you're in error. It's not something that's kind. It's not something you want to go through because it doesn't feel cool. But you have to allow yourself that to go through that, to have the healing, to have the growth. There needs to be a wee bit of discomfort and a wee bit of humility. Oh my goodness. Does this individual lack humility? They lack humility. Okay. Nah, again, that comes from a bad place. But we all need a wee measure of humility within us, you know? That egotistical bitch. I'm kidding. No, hey, whoa, where'd that come from? That's just a joke. Just a joke. But no, it's true. We need to overcome these kinds of thoughts, these negative thoughts, and instead channel it into the blessing, the blessing that comes from a place of understanding that this dysfunction, this equal measure of dysfunction that's in the world that we all possess, we all have our flaws. It can be overcome. It can be overcome. And yeah, I think that's a good point. Um, I could go deeper with this conversation, but I don't know how deeper I want to take it because it can get dodgy if you start talking about like real crimes and stuff like that and how to deal with them. But as I say, it's not a defense against legitimate harm. It's in the same time if there is legitimate harm done, it's the same process. Absolutely, it is. But it's not an excuse. It's not a justification for doing wrong. That's the important thing. You need to hold your hands up and say, you know what, I'm responsible for a problem. I'm responsible for causing grief in someone's life. And again, that's what I did in that video I made, Shiloh, following obedience to Christ, because I was heavily reflecting on this, and I thought, nah, you know, man, like if I've done something to cause pain in someone's life, I regret that. And sometimes it's not your fault. It's not your place to regret that. Sometimes people will just put themselves in a mindset or susceptibility to pain But at the same time, I felt it was healthy at that point, maybe to acknowledge, you know what? Nah, man, like I could have done better. There's more I could have done. There's always more we could do. As we strive towards perfection, there's always more we could do. So, yeah, First Peter 3:9, not to repay evil for evil, reviling for reviling, but on the contrary, bless, for to this you were called, that you may obtain a blessing. And that's part of the video I was hesitant about. So that's part of the reason I was hesitant about making this video, because you'll recognize in this video, some of what I've done is try to repay reviling for reviling. You've heard it in me. You've heard me like swelling up a little bit, like, "Oh, how can you do this?" And sometimes I've parodied it. I've tried to show what the ego wants to express, right? And that's reviling for reviling. That's like a child acting out and having a tantrum. Like, how could you say that? Well, guess what, you bitch. You know, it's like, really, that's ugly and it's childish and it's not mature Christianity. It's not mature spirituality at all. It's not what we're striving towards here. It's not. And then also just that, as I was saying, a point I was trying to make too, just the idea that you're not going to give someone the benefit of the doubt. You're not going to believe in the growth of another person, because say for example you have went through an acrimonious period with someone and then there's been a parting of ways and then there's been a, you know, a certain reconnection, to just assume the worst of that person, to assume everything you thought that was wrong about that person has only amplified, is such an embittered mindset, isn't it? It's such a toxic. I don't like to use the word. I hate the word toxic. You know, like toxic relationships and stuff. I don't know. It just it doesn't sit right. But I feel like because we could all get put in there at some points, couldn't we? And I just don't like the word. But certainly it works, and I can't think of another word right now. Toxic relationships. You know, like um, yeah. I just feel like I don't know. I forget the point I was trying to make, but no, we can do better. We can do better. um, so yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I mean, I know the way forward. You know, I know the way forward. I can't. None of us can heal every wound. We can't make people like us. And maybe the truth is, we're not as likable as we'd like to be. You know, and nobody wants. I don't. I think the healthy position actually is not to care. It's not to care. It's not to be like, oh, I hope people like me. The healthy position is, nah, you know what? I'm not interested if people like me or not. I'm me. I'm pursuing the truth. If people are going to react a certain way to me, yeah, they're not worthy of me. They're not worthy of me. I'm just going to progress. I'm going to move through. And if people want to react negatively to me, that's on them, because my heart is open and receptive. I am open to reconciliation. And I'm not saying that's my disposition all the time. This is me just giving an example of, I think, how we should kind of be going through life. We should be forgiving. We should be loving. We should be understanding. We should uh, we should be highly perceptive of the dysfunction in people and sensitive and empathetic towards it. Never met anyone I couldn't feel comfortable sitting around, and I feel like that's because I've been around some really extreme personalities growing up. You know, between like my brothers, my dad, my mum, that was a spectrum of personalities, you know, where my mum's really detached from the world, really laid back, nothing stresses my mum out at all. To my dad, who was a very intense and fiery and aggressive personality, and to my brother, who was a very aggressive, fiery, intimidating personality, but also with a lot of tenderness and love and loyalty. And then my little brother again, who's quite laid back and chill and man of few words. And I've had all these different kinds of people, and then my best friends growing up who are like drug addicts and stuff, and then other ones who are more soft and gentle characters. I find myself among lots of different personalities, and you can perceive where they're coming from, what they've been through, and you can acclimatize to it so that you can sit eye to eye with different groups of people. You know what I mean? Like, you don't just start acting in a way that's gonna aggravate or antagonize people, and that's part of the frustration as well. I think if you want and you strive to have people like you, and you want to remedy things, uh, quickly, like, I sometimes that's been my flaw, especially in relationships. Like, if there's been an argument, my go-to has been to race to remedy. And what I've learned this is going to turn into a highly sexist video now. What I've learned about women, right? Let me tell you something about women. They don't want solutions. They don't want solutions. No, they don't. Well, maybe they do, but they don't want it immediately. That's what I've learned. Is that true of all women or just my experience? You decide. Because I've tried to be like, "Oh, there's a problem. This is the problem. This is the solution. How'd you like me?" And it's usually not at all. I hate you, in fact. And I'm like, "Right, okay, no, I understand that. I get that. I get it now. I get it now." Like, you can't strive to make someone like you, or to resolve someone else's emotional issues with you. You can listen, you can hear, take a wee step back. Because if you actually strive to make a person anything, you can't really make people things. You can try and persuade when they are willing to listen, but if someone's not willing to listen, that's why this whole video is futile. That's what I recognize. This video is a exercise in futility. This will have no effect. This won't do a damn thing. And the reason for that is because you can't make someone listen to you. You can't make someone forgive you. You can't make someone love you. You can't make someone care. It's up to them. They need to seek, or rather have the motivation to change. If they don't have the motivation to repent, to change, to forgive, to be human, did I just infer that the person I'm arguing with isn't a human being? You're damn right it did. No, again, I need to watch where my words are coming from. Get down, ego. I must decrease, then he must increase. Yeah. So yeah, we have to be careful. We can't force anything. Otherwise, we just find ourselves just muddying through futility. Um, yeah. Mhm. Yeah, no, this is it. This is it. No, I'm not in the chat. I'm not in the chat. I can see the chat now. I don't agree with that. Like, for someone to judge someone else's experience, like, I don't know, man. That just no. That really upsets me. I don't understand that. I don't. Like, I'm legitimately having a panic attack right now. No, no, that just upsets me. Like, this is something so difficult, about trying to have an interaction, trying to convey with all genuineness and with all sincerity of how you feel. And see, when I went to see this Mark Hemans character, there was this healer, Mark Hemans, and I wanted to make this wee documentary about the experience. And part of the reason I never made a documentary is when you try to convey emotion into a camera, it can seem very contrived. And that's why I thought, I'm not gonna make a documentary because then I need to be like, "I am here in this town, and I'm going to see Mark." It's like, I don't wanna do that. I don't wanna do that. No, that's why I'm doing a lot of live videos now because when you have to record a video, I sometimes feel like I'm either too deadpan or you're delivering how you feel. You've written down how you feel, and then you're reading it off how you feel, and it's like, I've lost the emotional punch. I don't give a fuck anymore. Like I just want to go to bed, and you lose the you know the instant sort of like communication, everything, all the emotion and everything like that that goes into it. That's why I'm doing a lot of live videos these days. But I just don't understand like the angst and why you would continue to hate someone, like or react. I don't know, just in a mean spirit towards someone that's got absolutely no mean spiritedness geared toward you. I mean, I can understand it. I can get it. Like if you feel like you've been disenfranchised in some way, if you feel like you're the one that's been wounded, if you feel like it's you who suffered. But to me, that is such a selfish take on any kind of relationship. It's so one sided as to be almost completely blind. Like, oh, I was the only one with feelings in that interaction. I was the only one that cared. Everything that happened to me was bad, and everything that that person did was selfish and for their own gain. It's like, fuck off. It's like, sorry, that came from that came from the ego again, but it's like, it's so true. It's like, no, you know what I mean? It's like, yeah, we're, it doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense to think that way. Like, no, I'm the only one with emotions. I'm the only one that can feel. Sorry. You felt something too? But that's only because you're evil. It's talking to a child. It's talking to a child. And I'm not prepared to do it. It's a damn shame. It's a damn shame. And I know the person I'm referring to, and I think, yeah, it's clear now that they know. I won't keep this video up because the person's outed themselves. But um, yeah, it's so bereft of truth. Like the person I'm talking about, they know the situation because they experienced it too. And for them to try and portray themselves as like some kind of grand victim, nobody's buying that. Nobody would believe that. And like the people like again, I hate this. It's a very carnal conversation to have. No, I didn't. Yes, you did. No, I didn't. Yes, you did. I'm not that person. Yes, you are. Because you just get, it's just foolish. What am I going to do to defend myself? I'm a good person. My friends know I'm a good person. That just sounds insincere and nonsense. It's just not a conversation you want to have. Like, I don't know. It just makes me feel very uncomfortable that someone you genuinely care about can say such mean spirited things against you. And again, it is defamation, and I will be asking those comments to be deleted, or else I will file a defamation complaint through YouTube. Because as I've said, this is, you know, it's not something you say to someone. It's quite, as someone who works with vulnerable people, it's not something you can let stand. Although I have said in the video to go through the Christian route and not to go through those kinds of channels. But at the same time, it's like, there is a line that needs to be walked. So I think I've been quite fair in this video. I think I've been more than fair. I haven't made myself out to be a perfect person because I'm not a perfect person at all. I'm someone that's striving towards that. Pardon me. There's been someone who's had a negative experience with me, and I wouldn't call it all the way negative, however they might want to shade it, however they might want to color it. But clearly they still feel hurt. Clearly they still feel like they want a pound of flesh out of this. And I don't know what to say. Um, I've said my piece. I can't take responsibility for how someone else feels. And I really don't, pardon me, I really don't want to get into a whole he said, he said, she said thing, because that's just going to be an absolute train wreck. And I'm not going to make it a battle of egos either. I'm not going to be like, oh, she wants to come across as this kind of person. This is the person she really is, and all that nonsense, because that is nonsense, because she's not a bad person. And obviously she's still feeling upset. But yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know. I can't even look at the chat. I don't know. I know you're in the chat. I can't even look at the chat. I can't even look at the chat. Because it hurts me. It honestly affects me. I mean, this is someone I grew to really care about over the course of like a year. Someone you could talk to every single day, and then they just ghost you. Just unceremoniously, just up and out of your life, which is fine. Do what you have to do. But then to move past it and to grow past it, and then for them to just and start insisting out of the blue that you take YouTube videos down, and then you reach out and send them a nice birthday message, they reach back out and say, oh, hey, I hope things are going well with you. And then you ask for their ideas on spirituality, they're laden with insults. You're like, what the hell is this? I said all this before, I'm just saying it again in case the person in the chat hasn't watched the whole video. It's just so, it's like genuinely hurtful. And for that person to turn around and say, oh, that's just acting. You're obviously a reptilian that doesn't experience emotions. It's like, no, nah, you don't get to say that, man. Or fine, get to say it, but there's no way that'll stand. Your conscience will convict you. You know it's true. You know how I felt. And to take advantage of that, that's cruel. And to say something like, oh, I'm the victim in all this. I'm a victim. A victim of what? A victim of what? No, again, I'm getting pulled into a carnal conversation. I'm trying to keep this spiritual. No, I'm sorry. No. If you want to talk to me, you can do it through the proper channels. I haven't referenced you by name. You've decided to join this chat. Obviously, I'm acting upset, and my acting's so good that I'm finding it difficult to interact with you in this venue right now. But yeah, no, it sucks for all the reasons I've stated in the video. But I think that's it's part of the challenge of like trying to mature in your faith is to try and see past these kinds of things. It's not to let these things like, I don't know, cloud your judgment, make you all egotistical, make you all inspired to anger and frustration and emotion. As I said in these previous videos, to me it's about reconciliation. To me it's about not reviling for reviling. To me it's about blessing others and wanting the best for people, And I don't understand, like, it's like to this person, like, if you want to go to court, if you want to press any kind of criminal charges against me, then please do. Go for it. Go for it. See how far that goes. So what is it what is it you want to charge me with? Because I'll tell you, I could equally measure the charge against you. Because I was, again, I'm getting, oh man, I don't want to get drawn into a carnal conversation. I really don't. It's just, I don't know, it's just a tricky one. It's a really tricky one. Because I don't want to be upset. I don't want to live through my life with negative emotion, And for someone, again, just someone that you care about, to think so little of you and to, I don't know. Oh, there's Leanne giving me a message. Maybe Leanne will want to join this YouTube video. She might have a few things to say. I'll ask her on. Uh, uh, yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I don't really have anything else to say for this video. I'm just really tired at this point. It's, I don't know. It is an emotionally draining video. But at the same time, I think it's an important one because I think we all go through these kinds of things in life. Like, again, like dealing with the heart of the issue, like the video I made on temptation, it's not about, it's never been about for me, like, oh, derp, let's have an intimate interaction with someone. Clearly not. Clearly, that's not something you do. If I wanted to have sex with someone, let's just say, and I get a phone call or a message from a girl and she says, come to my house, let's hang out, and I decline the offer, what sense does it make to think, actually, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to fly across the Atlantic Ocean in the off chance that that this girl over here likes me. It doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make a lick of sense. If my modus operandi is sexual satisfaction, why would I turn down the offer of sex? Why would I do it? It doesn't make any sense. Is it because this particular person feels they're so special? Like they're just so seductive. They're just so, I don't know what it is. No, that doesn't make any sense. Obviously, for me, the most important thing is a heartfelt connection. Obviously, or I wouldn't spend thousands of pounds traveling across the world to meet someone. That's such an unfair thing to say, to think that you would do that just for some kind of sexual gratification. That is poison to me. That makes me feel sick. That makes me genuinely want to throw up. Um, no, no, I'm not attracted to the idea of sex. That has no appeal to me whatsoever, divorced from a person. I and again, I don't. It's an uncomfortable video to make now. It's been made doubly uncomfortable, but at the same time, it's like I don't know, when you grow to really appreciate someone and really like someone, um, I don't know, like you want to have an intimate connection with them, you know? And and to me that's really important. I mean the whole thing, the whole relationship in itself, it's not something entered into lightly. It's a very poignant thing. And yeah, I think, you know, anyone that knows me, and this person knows me, knows that I'm not just someone that throws myself into relationships willy-nilly. I'm not someone that's just I mean, I have been naive in the past. I have pursued relationships, but with the modus operandi of, "Oh, this is someone I really love, so I'm gonna take this leap of faith." I've done that before in my past, and I did genuinely believe I was in love with such a person, but I can see now, on reflection how maybe that wasn't wise or how maybe the ideas were undeveloped, just through the immaturity of my mind. And you hope to live and to grow and to learn and to grow past that. Um, but just for someone else that considers themselves to be a Christian to judge you, um, and in such a way too that condemns themselves, it's so counterproductive. Instead of there being healing, instead of there being reconciliation, instead of being two mature adults coming together to say, actually, you know what? Maybe this was rushed, maybe this was hurried, maybe this wasn't done the right way. Maybe this could have been better. And I see all these great qualities in you. I see you as a person, and I want the very best for you. And that's my disposition of heart. And let it be contested, because on the day of judgment, when I die, I believe, this knowledge will be known. God knows all things. He searches the minds and hearts of all people, right? So you get yourself to this moment in time if you're watching this video, and you come into my heart, and you come into my mind, and you see just how I feel. Do it. I think that kind of thing can be done, right? It's not impossible. Do it. Search me out. Not saying you'll find the purest of people, but you'll certainly see how my heart was and how I felt. And let that be exhibit A. Let that be the testimony. Um, yeah, I really don't have. I don't have the heart right now to look into that message board. And I'll tell you why I don't. I'll tell you why I can't look at the live stream conversation right now. Because I know her, and I know that she's going to be saying some really mean spirited things. And I know that if I read them, it would have an impact on me. And she knows that too. And I think that's so cruel. I think that's so, like, you know what I mean? That's the thing that's nice. And yet I'm some fucking monster. Like, I can't even bring myself to look at the mean words she might be saying about me because it would make me feel sad. And yet I'm some kind of beast in her mind. I think, oh man, there's an injured soul. There's an injured soul. Aye. So I don't know. I know the way forward for myself. And I know the kind of outcome I would want and expect, particularly from people that champion Christian virtue, who champion love and reconciliation and forgiveness. I know the kind of direction I'd like to move in. But also, like I've said in this video, you can't make anyone, and I said this at the start, well, not at the start, but I did tell you this video is an exercise in futility because it won't resonate. There'll be no sympathy. There'll be nothing but accusation. There'll be nothing but malicious gossip. There'll be nothing but all those wicked things stated in Timothy, First Timothy. You know, just all this avarice, just all this like nastiness, just spewing forth all these wicked things. And why measure up that list? Why write that list out? What's the point? What's the point? Oh, here you did this thing that made me feel this way, and grr. Like, what's the point? I'm not there. I'm sorry that you felt the way you felt. I'm genuinely sorry. And to delegitimize my experience in that is hurtful. Like I say, I've got all these wee stupid trinkets. I've got my wee stupid sandalwood deodorant and all the rest of it because all these wee memories meant something to me. that meant something to me. And I've got to like look back in all this and think it meant nothing to someone else, or this other person was just building stones up around their heart. Well, mine was getting softer and softer to the point now to read words from them feels like a dagger in my heart. And it's like I'm not even considering this person in my life anymore, other than someone I would love to reconnect with as a friend. And why? Why would I want to reconnect to such a narcissist? I'm like, "Ah, I don't I did it again. I did it again. I don't want to get carnal with it. But why do I want to bridge that gap? I'll tell you why, because I feel like I saw a genuinely lovely person with a wee bit of issues in their life, aye, but a genuinely lovely person, someone that I loved, aye, someone that I still care about. And nah, it's just I just feel like all this argumentation and stuff, it's beneath the dignity. It's beneath the dignity of two people that are try to get on, try to move forward. And again, like I said, that's what we're trying to do, isn't it? We're trying to grow up. We're trying to move forward. And it's tricky. It is tricky. And I understand where she's coming from. As I say, I understand it. It's not nice to feel like you've been hard done by. And I'm not going to delegitimize that experience, okay? Let's say I don't. So you have someone that feels like they've been hurt. And they're aware of my channel, right? They watch me and they think to themselves, this guy's full of shit, right? This guy's an asshole. This guy doesn't believe in any of this stuff. He's a charlatan. He doesn't care about God. He doesn't care about Christ. He doesn't care about me. He doesn't. All he wants to do is go around shagging people. Great takeaway, right? Great analysis. That's the point of this channel. I made this channel as a pickup. This is how you pick up chicks, right? Make a fucking YouTube channel about preterism. That gets all the babes. You know what I mean? What are you talking about? That's the ramblings of a mental patient. You know what I mean? But still, okay. Um, right. So that's what you believe. And it's like, well, first of all, it doesn't make any sense, but right, that's your experience, right? But then what? Why? Why do it's like the Matrix, you know what I mean? Agent Smith, why, Mr. Anderson? Why do you persist? Am I Goliath? Am I supposed to get taken out? Is that your mission? To continuously wear me down, to hurt me? Because it's not gonna work, it's not gonna be effective, it's just gonna frustrate you, and it's just gonna annoy me. So why waste energy that way? Why not just instead see this as an opportunity to let it go? And I understand why you wouldn't want to, because it's coming for me. And you look at me and you think to yourself, I don't like this person, right? I don't like this person. Grr. And it's like, well, that's weird. Like that's just a weird thing to get stuck on. Because I've not given you a reason not to like me. I mean, I'm sure in your head you've got hundreds of reasons why you don't like me. I can't imagine though. Um, because you know yourself how I feel about you and the things I've done for you. So it's not fair. I don't feel like that's fair, but fair enough. That's you're entitled to your opinion, you know. But it's like, why? Why would you waste the energy? Like, especially someone who's taken advice for the Bible. You know what I mean? Where it talks about not repaying evil for evil or reviling for reviling. I mean, it literally tells you to do that, and yet, you're in the comments all like that. You know, you're a this and a that, a liar and all the rest of it, a deceitful person. No, I'm not into that. I'm not into that idea. I just don't understand. Like someone who would make it their mission to hurt another human being just because they themselves have perceived hurt. Nah, nah. It doesn't really resonate with me as a nice thing to do. Mm. Dear. But anyways, I think I've said my piece here. I think I've said my piece. You know, I guess I don't know. I guess it could be coming for the wrong place making a video like this, but I just feel like there comes a point where you need to address things. You know what I mean? And I didn't want to have on that other video these comments. You know, because they are incendiary comments, and it's like, well, I could let them slide off my back. You know, but at the same time, I'm just like, no. So anyway, it's been a long ass day, and I don't know. It's going to be another long week ahead, I think. So it's about 1 o'clock in the morning now, so I'm getting a wee bit tired. Um, so I don't know. I'll reflect on this. You know, I think I'll see. Like, I don't know. I don't want to put words in other people's mouths and stuff like that, but it certainly seems like there's a there's a mature way and a spiritual way to deal with these kinds of things, you know, and there's another way to deal with them, and I just want to try and make sure that I can use the I don't know the spiritual tools at hand to try to navigate these kinds of experiences in life. So yeah, I think with that I'll sign off. I probably spoke long enough. Thank you for watching, and yeah, person to whom I might be referring in this video, I genuinely wish you well. You know, despite how you might feel, despite the way you feel, it's like you know my intentions towards you are nothing but friendship, nothing but just nice things. I just want you to have the best life you can possibly have. Um, you know, I'm really sorry. Like genuinely sorry for the way things worked. Um, but you're someone I'll care about, and I'll always have you in my prayers. And yeah, if you don't feel that way, that's okay. It's okay. But I feel like I've made some points in this video that should, I don't know, permeate any kind of hard feelings. So I'll leave it there. I'll leave it there. Good night, everyone, and God bless.